You said something to me once that I use as kind of a mantra that I use when I think I'm dying. You said the human body is difficult to kill, and I've seen it. I saw my mom pass away in the hospital at 87 years old, and she was so frail and had been through so much. She had aortic dissection, she had pulmonary fibrosis, and blah blah blah. And this is during COVID, and I was like, if she gets COVID, she'll die because she's got all these compounding things going on. The littlest thing will take. I mean, she's gonna, and she did. She died in her sleep, not from COVID, but just couldn't make it through the night one night. And it was like, so you were hearing about people dying from COVID that had all these comorbidities. It's like, well, of course, if anything hits them, pneumonia hits them, COVID hits them, any kind of virus hits them, it's probably going to take them out at that point. But I watched her just battle and battle and battle. And I was like, well, geez, I get like a pain in my finger and I start complaining. And here's my mom going through, you know, to just things that should have wiped her out one after another, and her body just kept staying alive. So I'm always amazed when you hear about somebody like dying in their sleep or they were young and this happened and cancer took them out. It's like, wow, because I think the body's pretty amazing at putting up this giant fight.
And we want to tell people that, hey, look, respect your pain. Listen to it. It's telling you it's information. So for our high-level athletes, we view honestly, of course.
Okay.
We view pain as just another data point, like heart rate variability or resting heart rate or wattage or poundage. Hey, if you went for a big run yesterday and your knee's sore today, it's probably knee cancer. Let's be honest. It probably is, or it's gonorrhea. Like it's one of those two things that are popping up. Or you went for a big run yesterday and you didn't get a chance to reduce the session costs. And now you're a little stiff or you're a little congested because you played college soccer and now your joint surfaces aren't pristine like toddler joints anymore. And instead, what we tell people is, like, we haven't empowered anyone to deal with that. Instead, you're like, holy crap, what do? Let me take this ibuprofen. I don't want to feel the pain. Pain is bad. I don't want to, let me drink this bourbon. Let me take this THC. Let me take whatever I can do to self-soothe. And I think that's really one of the issues, that we are self-soothing our way out of important information. Instead of saying, well, hey, it's a little sore. Can you walk around? Great. Let's walk today. Is there any other thing you can do? Can we manage the congestion? Can we mobilize your tissues some way? Can we just give it a second?
When is it, where it's just DOMS, that you've got delayed onset muscle soreness, and your body's going,
yes,
don't.
You need to go for a walk today or float in a pool. That's right.
Sure, but I feel like there's pain and then there's DOMS, and DOMS is your muscles are sore, they're micro or whatever. I've read all this new stuff about it being the nerves and I'm not smart enough to understand it, but what I'm saying is we've been through DOMS so many times in our life, and knowing that it's just, hey, this is just our muscles repairing themselves, but maybe not go too hard because we could cause an injury right now because our muscles aren't firing at their total capacity. But there's also this hey, this is just a matter of getting in shape. So when do you ignore DOMS and when do you take it seriously?
Well, again, if your DOMS is so bad that you can't go to work, you can't be a father, can't be a mother, can't be a parent, can't be a co-parent, you can't do your job, you start to get swelling, you're peeing, you have a fever, then obviously you've tripped over into something else, and that's not delayed onset muscle soreness. But what you bring up is a really good point. We have friends in the World Championship for mountain biking is next weekend, and I think it's France, and maybe not, maybe it's Sweden, wherever it is. And if I dropped into the brain of this woman, is one of my friends named Kate Courtney. She's the best American cyclist out there. And she's a world champion, World Cup winner. She's rode in the Olympics. If I dropped into her brain in the middle of a World Cup world final, I would perish. I would just perish. I would just die and melt. She would expose her Horcrux to me and I would die. And because the amount of pain that she says, this is normal and typical, I've had a graded exposure to this my whole life. I've suffered. So imagine a generation of people who've never been sore, and you really get sore for the first time and you think you're injured because you don't have any frame of reference, which is one of the reasons why we want kids to train and exercise and play and be sore. So your brain starts to say, hey, it's totally fine. It's totally fine how you feel right now. You get up in the morning and you don't think that, it's okay for your back to be sore after heavy deadlifts. Ideally, we don't do that. We want you to try to come out without joint soreness. But sometimes if you go lift 1,000,000 pounds of sand as you work on a project and be in weird positions, and you may be a little bit sore. But what we haven't done is given people any references for what's normal, what's typical. Is this a normal experience? Hey, what do I do about this? Well, hey, I just need to take it easier today and go walk around. Can I make myself feel better without some kind of exogenous substance? I don't have to smother this down. And I think what you bring up, that first idea of, where people are not having these experiences in their bodies, where they know what it's like to be hungry, where they know what it's like to be cold, where they know what it's like to be hot, where they know what it's like to be scared. We're having to sort of manufacture these things. Look, I'm a huge fan of the hot and the cold because I think you can get super hot every day. I think that's really good for you. For Juliet and I, it allows us to chill. But we get into our cold plunge and it's like a small death, right? You freak out, you watch yourself. And some of that is just, hey, I practice this over and over. Is it good for my immune system? Sure. Is it good for my circulation? But just the psychology of like, today I'm going to be uncomfortable for 2 minutes. I'm going to get into this ice water and think and have this existential crisis. The problem is that most of us have zero of those. And so when something happens, man, we elevate very quickly because we don't have any exposure.